To order, please rise for the pledge and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. The meeting is recorded and on video. New business, approval of the June 14th, 2017 minutes.
Read the minutes. I move to approve. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Any further corrections or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Judy, fiscal report?
In the general fund today, we have $756,880 in the Erie Bank General Fund account, $529,403 for a total of $1,286,283. Payments coming out of the general fund account this week. This is an estimate for accounts payable because we're still in the process of entering bills, but we don't see anything huge outstanding beyond what's on here. $85,762. Estimate for health care, because we don't have the invoice in yet, is $62,000, and the actual dental coming out this week, $3,428, leaving us a projected cash balance of $605,690. We haven't taken any more draws from the TAN since the last time, so we're still at $2.5 million on that. That's it.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Move to approve fiscal report.
I'll second that.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. United Refining Gas Card Program Agreement. We have an agreement with United here to review and consider accepting. This is for our fleet fueling for the county. They've agreed to waive all fees associated with this program. And any questions, concerns? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
We actually have 65 vehicles. I thought we had 42.
I think there's 65.
Doesn't sound right.
Yeah, we may want to review those numbers just because there's also, like when we've reviewed the fleet management with Enterprise, the numbers at different times have seemed off, and partially because we have different vehicles that are being sold and things like that.
They send you cards, though, that you have to identify that vehicle, correct? Yes. So you'll have the correct amount at that time.
And the cards, so the cards are associated with every card is associated with a vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
Does the count of 65 include DHS vehicles by chance? Okay, and is
The count of 43 or so includes everything that's here: sheriff's vehicles, other offices, hazmat, 911 or EMA, and DHS. So you only have like 30 cars?
we have
28?
22.
Oh, 22.
So it looks like we're high by 22 on here.
Exactly. Oh, maybe those got added.
That's what
Good math.
But there's also what they call the maintenance cards for the ATVs, the snowmobiles, the trailer that has the generator, to track those
Yeah,
separately.
that's what I'm saying. That would be.
Yeah, that could be another 10 right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, I don't think that would nullify this agreement, but it just seems fine.
All right. Any further discussion?
So the idea with switching to this program, correct, is the idea that we're going to be providing a benefit to a local business, that we're going to be making an agreement with a local business, and that we're going to enjoy the same benefits
Yes.
in the program?
Actually, the return might be a little bit greater, on average 3 cents greater with the times that you actually get gas at quick fill, which for our employees is the majority of the time.
All right.
So
50 to 100% of the fill-ups were at a quick fill station anyway. So we weren't seeing the discount on those because we weren't using their fleet fueling program.
So you feel that there'll be a savings associated with this?
I
Yeah,
feel
maybe
there
a
will be.
grand.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Appointment to the Redevelopment Authority of Warren County. There's recently been a resignation from the board by Dutch Strand, and we're looking to fill that position. We are looking to appoint Mr. Joseph Scully, who has agreed he would accept this if he were to be appointed. It's to the Warren County Redevelopment Authority, effective immediately through December 31st of 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move to appoint Joe Scully to the authority.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I think, well, I was just going to say, I think Joe Scully will be a great addition to that, having served on the Blighted Property Committee. He's been heavily involved in the COG, so I think that he'd be a great benefit to the group.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the Guardian RFID agreement. And I was hopeful that our warden, John Collins, would be here to discuss this today. This is an agreement between Guardian RFID and the Warren County Jail. And this is quite a beneficial program for the jail, and it is being funded by grant funds through P Corp. There is a $30,000 cost to this. However, the grant will cover those costs, and there will be, going forward next year, a $3,500 annual fee to keep this program up and running efficiently. It's to monitor the activity of the inmates within the prison, and will give them a very good real-time activity of the inmates to know where they're at within the jail at any given time, and looks to be a very good program for our jail.
Yeah, it's important to note that this will allow them to have a greater level of tracking. As Commissioner Morrison stated, it's not just the whereabouts in the jail, but it's also their activities, needs, things related to that, which will provide a greater level of detail for us to know how the jail's operating, you know, what things are legitimately getting used, when they're legitimately getting used, and it'll help everybody make better decisions and monitor the jail to a greater extent, which is why P Corp is offering a grant, because it'll limit liability and it'll also allow the commissioners to make better decisions in the jail.
I think that's the number one benefit of the program, is the protection for our county against liability issues with insurance, to have their whereabouts monitored and to know immediately if they're in danger or if something's happening with them that otherwise we may not have a way to track that. So it seems to be a very good program, and many counties are taking advantage of the P Corp grant funding to provide this service in their jails. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the Guardian RFID agreement, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of Inmate Calling Solutions Agreement. This is another agreement within the jail, and this would be for inmate telephone services. And listening to Warden Collins at our work session on Monday, it appears that this would save our inmates costs associated with their telephone calls, and also the county costs. I don't know if either of the two of you have more to add to that.
Basically, I believe their contract's up, and so they're pitching this around. And so the inmate phone service industry is very competitive, because there's, the goal is to get in and provide the service to the inmates. As a result, this particular company offered a very good deal where they put all of their equipment in, and then they'd also provide grant funding for various other things. But the idea with this system is that it'll reduce the cost for the inmates, it'll reduce the cost of the county to some degree, but actually, and then a greater level of money will be put into the commissary fund, which is used to create amenities and counseling, number of other things for the inmates that benefits them. So it's not necessarily a windfall to the county per se, as much as it is, it solves a lot of issues, or it creates a lot of benefits.
Any further? Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the inmate telephone services agreement as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the Inmate Calling Solutions Agreement, please state aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Approval of CCAP 2017 FishMe Simulator licensing. This is a service that's being provided by CCAP Technology Services. FishMe Simulator is beneficial to our IT department in order to help us provide education to our employees, to alert them to the dangers that wherein lie in emails and various other communications received online. This is at a minimal cost to the county. We have roughly 250 employees, so the price to the county is $1.17 per user. So it should shake out to be about $250, a little over that, dollars a year, or for this program. We're being asked to consider this agreement by our IT department, Insight Technologies. And do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with CCAP Technology Services for the 2017 FishMe Simulator licensing.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I'd just like to thank the IT department, and especially Bill Gallagher, for bringing this to the attention of the commissioners and taking this on as an initiative within the county. Everybody's aware of the situation, or the discussion that's going on with like the federal elections and everything else. Hacking, spear phishing, all of these things are huge problems for governments, and it's incredibly important for us to maintain and monitor that. There are counties within this state that have had huge problems as a result of a lack of awareness when it comes to spear phishing and hacking and various types of nefarious activities online. I'd also thank Bill for working with CCAP in order to get a very good rate for the county. This will be, I think it ended up being like a couple $100 per year, when originally it was going to be substantially more in order to do this system and basically test all of the. This is a way for them to constantly test the faculty and I shouldn't use the term faculty, the staff, whatever, the people, so to see what their level of knowledge and awareness is to spear phishing. So it's a very good agreement.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the CCAP 2017 FishMe Simulator licensing, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the Northwest Services Company agreement. This is an agreement, it's on our generators. It's routine generator services and inspection on the generator within the courthouse and the Warren County Jail at a unit price per generator service per inspection is $680 per generator.
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say we did away with service contracts. The former board did. This is certainly one of those areas that we're going to suffer if we don't start servicing them again. We've been having issues with several of our generators, so it costs $680 for, was this a two-year service agreement? But my suspicion is that's going to save us in the long haul because these do need to be serviced.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially, this became apparent to us when the transformer outside blew up and then knocked the power out, and then everybody was scrambling to get the generator set up, and they're like, there was some finagling that had to be done, and it became apparent that some of these service contracts had gone by the wayside during budget cuts and everything else, during budget constraints, and it doesn't seem like a problem until there's a problem, and then that's when this is an insurance policy. So
Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the Northwest Services Company agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Award of county office cleaning agreement. We opened bids that we'd received on Monday at our work session, and the lowest bid came in from Bonded Services Corporation at $128,988, and Part 2 of the agreement is $900. That's a quarterly service charge, and Part 3 is $4,800 for yearly services. This is to provide cleaning services within the Warren County Courthouse, the Hickory Street Annex, the Rouse Annex building offices, and the Conservation District office up on Hatch Run Road. Do I have a motion to approve Bonded Services as our cleaning services provider?
Can I?
I was not planning on voting this. For my part, I was more interested in looking at the BEI proposal.
Could we have a general discussion about this?
Sure.
Just to lay some things out on the table.
Actually, start not with BEI, but to say that I still strongly believe that we should take the $135,000 or whatever and put it towards 1 or 2 part-time positions. Actually, probably 2 or 3 part-time positions. Those could be BEI people, people with disabilities. But most importantly, I would like the flexibility of having people that work for our maintenance department doing the cleaning so that we can have reliable people that have gone through our background checks, that we can tell to do other things that are beyond the scope of what's in this contract. So I know that we're under the gun and that the current contract expires at the end of
the week.
Yeah, tomorrow. I know I expressed it before and didn't really put a lot of effort into it, but I'm still. Is there any kind of clause in our current contract that would allow us to just extend this, our current bonded, for a few months or something while we could get a program like that up and going?
I would have to look.
We'd have to contact them, but I have to assume that they would be comfortable with continuing work and receiving pay from the county, for an extended period. If we, in the meantime, to review it. My perspective on it is a couple of different things. One is I hadn't spent much time considering what Ben's talking about, which is, or Commissioner Catherlin is talking about, which I think is actually a pretty reasonable perspective on it. My perspective on it was they're both very close. In my opinion, like with
less than 0.5% off.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective with BEI, I think that figuring out a way to give them an opportunity to at least have a pilot program within the county that utilizes this service, even if it's for a short period, like say a 6-month window, and then see how it goes, and then shift back if we have to, or shift to another agency if we don't feel like it's working. At that rate, I think it would be great to because the impression that I got from BEI about this was that this is a program that they're essentially starting up, so it's new. There's a lot of room for movement. There's a lot of opportunity for them to do things differently, to accommodate us in a lot of different ways. It would be worth it to get some more time and maybe work with them to figure out a way to incorporate them into the system. Whether it's just through a contract that relates to this bid, or whether it's through what Commissioner Caverlin is referring to, which is a hybrid system of some type where we have some staff that handles the cleaning on a regular basis.
I do have a question for our fiscal director. Judy, how do these figures compare to our previous contract? Do you have an idea?
I honestly believe they're very close to where we are presently. I don't think if it's a change, I don't think it's much of a change. I'd have to go downstairs and look for sure.
I believe it is actually lower than last year.
Okay, and the reason for my asking that is during our budget discussions, Judy actually and myself considered bringing on 2 part-time employees to cover the cleaning, and costed that out. And what we determined was that it would actually be to our advantage to continue with the cleaning service that we had. But I'm certainly willing to consider looking at all alternatives, anything that we can do to provide a great cleaning service, as well as keep costs in line.
Yeah.
We-
So a couple of things just to consider. Sorry, Judy. Go ahead, Judy.
We had just done a fast ballpark estimate. I mean, we have no time tracking or anything on, we were just trying to guess what it would take to clean the different buildings. But a couple of the considerations we also came up with is that we do have different locations. So if we have employees, are we paying the employees travel time for going to and from these other locations, or are we stationing an employee at each location? The other one was the equipment. Bonded already has the strippers for floor waxing and other things that way. They have the steamers for the carpet cleaning and stuff.
They hired that out.
They hired that out?
Yes, they
okay.
did.
Well, if we were taking that on ourselves or doing, that's included in their contract. Even if they hire it out, their costs cover it, where we would be also either buying the equipment or renting the equipment or something that way, aside from the
It would be an
salary
additional
of the
expense.
people. So you're right to evaluate them. There's a lot to roll into it other than just trying to plan the hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that was just basically done on a napkin is not sufficient. I mean,
Yeah, it was quick. It was,
you know, really, we don't know how many hours they currently put in, but what we do know is how much it costs per hour to hire a specialist too, or whatever in the maintenance department to do this kind of thing. And the fact is, the hourly rate that they're charging, I'm sure, is less because they're a for-profit company that's trying to make money somewhere. So if we hired a comparable employee for the same wage, I'm quite confident that it would cost less for us.
A couple of
Well,
things.
you know, besides obviously what you were saying about buying strippers or whatever.
Floor strippers.
Floor strippers, yes.
The one thing that I wanted to throw on the table too is having been here late on a number of different occasions working, I've followed the cleaning crew around at different times. And it basically takes two people to do the entire courthouse, and it takes them multiple hours. I mean, it takes them most of the evening in order to clean this entire facility. It's really so. And with BEI, the thing with them is they're going to have a whole crew working within the courthouse and then the other facilities as well. If we hire two people, I think it's going to be a challenge for them to work through the evening and get this all done, go to the other facilities, get those done, and then also have any other duties, aside from that. It's the cleaning the courthouse, and that's with it being like doing the bare minimum of cleaning, where you're vacuuming, very little dusting. It's just something to consider that I like the idea of having somebody internal. I mean, there are a lot of benefits to that. It's a lot of like cleaning these facilities is a lot of work.
The advantage, again, is mostly that we can have them do things that we want them to do, whereas right now, if we say, you know what, that window needs to be cleaned on the outside or whatever, they can say, no, not in my agreement. Whereas, obviously, if we hired someone internally, then we can have them do, if there's an emergency, our maintenance director needs to bring somebody in, like toilets flood and whatever just happened.
Yeah, well,
That said, I don't think this idea is fleshed out enough. I'm sorry, really, for bringing it, I guess, because we couldn't pull the trigger on that today. We would have a huge lag between when we actually agreed to anything. So there's a 60-day clause in I believe, in both agreements. But I at least looked at the BEI one real quick while we were sitting here. So my proposal would be approve their bid, BEI's bid, and then if in 60, 90, 120 days or whatever we can find a better alternative, then we could terminate that.
Well, okay.
BEI? We don't have BEIs here. Is
I-
that what you're saying, instead of bonded services?
Well, is it worth it to instead, since we obviously need a lot more work to flesh it out, approve the bid with bonded and continue to work with them until we come up with a concrete solution to having?
Well, I mean, the concrete solution would be our BEI.
Well, either BEI or like you're talking about having part-time people working here.
Either way, but yeah.
I would suggest continuing with bonded. They're already in place.
Yeah.
The issue being that we've had complaints from our employees about the quality.
Well, my point being is that if we feel like we can't come up with, or if we feel like we have another solution that's better, we can opt out of it, and it's just 2 months.
Right.
That we would continue with the service.
I can agree with that.
and then that'll give us time to put something together, because I don't think 2 months is going to hurt anybody. Like, does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I think that at the very least, it sounds to me like we've got a few weeks of planning in order to do either, I mean, even with BEI, the perspective I got from Dr. Clark was like that they could start at the end of this month, but they're not ready to start. They need a couple of weeks, but they could hurry up and do it. And I'm just looking at it from a perspective of, okay, are we going to scramble around over the next 2 days to try to figure out a way to make it work within the county? Meanwhile, like kind of all the, not having really talked with the directors or figured out a way to roll it out, and whereas even if we said, okay, we're going to do this in 2 months or 3 months, we could, talk about it at the directors meeting, work with the doctor to figure out maybe a better solution, or, have a hybrid situation where we have some people internally and work with them.
All right. So we have a motion on the floor.
No, we didn't make a motion
You motioned it.
No, I didn't.
yet. No, we just had a general discussion.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the bonded contract with the idea that, that we'll continue to look for other possible solutions, and that, it'll give bonded time to, impress the county with their continued service.
I'll second the vote.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Opposed.
No. Opposed? Okay. Okay, motion carries 2-1. Human Services, Children and Youth, approval of the county match to fulfill operational budget 2017-18. We have Director Mary Kushner here with us. Mary, would you like to explain?
Here a couple months ago asking for the county match, thinking that we weren't going to need more, but then with the changes that we saw that came through with the technology, with the Banco contract, with IT needs, to state system that they require us to have, but then they increase the cost, which increases the county match on the children youth side. On the early intervention side, we're requesting additional funding too, as we discussed at governing board, because of the increased need that we see projected over the next 6 months for that service, which is an entitlement service, so we have to provide it. So that's why the request is coming in for the additional funding. And as we talked about yesterday a little bit too at governing board, that we may see an increase with on the developmental disability side, because all the rates aren't in for the system in order to do the individual budgets. Right now we have about 10 individuals we were only able to do a 6-month budget on, because the funding from the state hasn't come through, so we're not able to give the families a full year's budget, so we may come back. And that adds the supportive employment costs. What we're seeing through our contract right now, we're looking at an increase in supportive employment through BEI of about $88,000. That doesn't have anything to do with their cleaning contract, just with the overall rate increase from the state to the provider, which comes down then to county match. And that's looking right now about $88,000, which would come down to about another $8,000 to $9,000 from the county. So I may be coming back asking for more funding other than requests before you.
All right. Thank you, I guess.
Again, the mandates come down.
Right. I know. It's out of your control.
Thank you.
Yes. Do I have a motion?
I'm making a motion to approve the, is it 1718, right? Budgeted allocation of county match to the Department of Human Services.
Second. To be clear, this is for the $975,924. That's what we're approving right now.
Yes.
Correct.
So you'll come back at a later date on the other.
Yeah, once we have the confirmed amount through, if it needs to go higher, or the intellectual disability generators must be working.
Look at the service contract's
Yep.
already working. So this amount could be affected by the budget that's currently being negotiated, correct?
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the county match to fulfill operational budget for 17-18, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. You're welcome. Citizens' comments or concerns? Do you have anything to address? Employees? All right. Commissioners' comments or concerns? Hearing none, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, since we have like 30 minutes until Ben's on a conference call, do you want to talk about that issue that you want to talk about? Maybe downstairs. Maybe downstairs. Maybe downstairs. Maybe downstairs. Maybe downstairs. Maybe downstairs. Maybe downstairs.